So now we'll talk about the existence of different types of solutions or not existence, let's just simply write different types of solutions. So different types of solutions of system of linear equations. Okay. All right. Now, before we go into the details of, we are going to actually look through this using examples. So before we go into them, let us look at a sort of introduction or introductory statement. Okay. So in parametric models, a solution value is always an expression in terms of the parameters. That is trivial in terms of the parameters, right? So for a general function model, that means general function is not specifically linear. General function model containing m parameters where m, okay, like this, m not necessarily equal to n, not necessarily equal to n, the n equilibrium prices can be expected to take the general analytical form and what is that form? That form is pi star is equal to pi star of, that is a function of, let's say a1, a2, am. So these are my m parameters. Right? My m parameters for all I runs from 1 to n. Two things to note. Number one, which we said that m is not necessarily equal to n. Number two is we have seen this, right? For example, in the one model that we discussed, we had parameters like C naught, C1, C2, then gamma naught, gamma 1, and gamma 2. And we saw that P1 star involved C1, C2, gamma 1, gamma 2, and C naught. Okay. So in that sense, we are saying that in analytical form, that as a function, if I want to write, not going into the specific form, then I can safely say that each of the prices in the answer will be in equilibrium. That means will be a function of all the parameters. Okay, it may not be the case. That's always that is true, but we can expect, or in general, we can write this, that whatever be the answer will be a function of the parameters. Okay. Remember this form, because later in our discussion, this idea will become important. Okay. Let us keep the expression for the time being as it is. Now, such an expression, that is the one we have written, such an expression can be justified I double F. That means if and only if and only if a unique solution, if and only if a unique solution does exist. Because if it does not, then we have an entirely different system. So does exist. Why? For then and only then, the ordered M tuple, we have seen ordered set, right? So ordered M tuples means this argument basically, this a point here basically. A point will be a1, a2, dot, am. So the ordered M tuple, much like our ordered pair, M points. So ordered M tuple into a determinate value. Remember, not determinant, a determinate value. That is a value that can be determined. So determinant value for each price Pi star. Note that the process of counting the number of equations and unknowns involved also do not suffice, because probably you have learned in that way that if m equals to n, then it is fine. Okay, if m is less than n, then something happens. If m is greater than n, then something happens, so on and so forth. All that is meaningless nonsense. Okay. So counting those equations and unknowns, they do not say anything at all. All right. So you need to do better than that. The method basically is different. So let us explicitly write that if m equals n, that does not necessarily imply not necessarily, simply does not imply. So that does not imply the existence of an unique solution. Of an unique solution. Okay. So now we are going to take 3 specific examples of simultaneous equation systems, and we will look at them. We will solve them the way we learned to solve, that is, looking at the format of Ax equal to b, and then going to the augmented matrix A, B, or A bar B, whatever, and then trying to reduce it to the row reduced echelon form, and then uh, look at what will be the solution, how to write them, and so on and so forth. But obviously, the general literature is much bigger than what we will do. And before we go to that general literature of independence, dependence, functional structure, okay, free rows, free rows, and so on, free variables, and so on and so forth, let us just learn it through examples, because that's often the best way to start something. And as I said, in each and every case, we are going to look at, I think, 2 variables and 2 equations. At least mostly that will be the case. Okay. So, example 1. So first one is x plus y equal to 8. And the second one is, okay, this is far more trivial, but that doesn't really create any problem. That actually kind of justifies the idea in a much better way. So x plus y equal to 8 and x plus y equal to 9. 2 variables, 2 equations. You can readily see that we do not have any solution, right? But let's just take the matrix approach. So if I write it Ax equal to b in Ax equal to b format, what we have here is 1, 1, 1, 1, 8, 9. And if I try to reduce it, then what we have 1, 1. Then my task is to make this one 0. And if I make this one 0, the other one will also become 0, right? And this 9, it will become 1, right? So this is my row reduced echelon form. And see, here I have a 0, unintended. My row operation gave me this. But with respect to that 0, I have a 1. So what does it mean? This means that although I have 0 as a coefficient of y, right? So if I said that this one and this one are same. So basically what I'm saying is 1, 1, 0, 0 xy is equal to 8 and 1, which basically means that 0 into y is equal to 1, which means 0 equal to 1. That means no solution exists, right? Okay. Because this cannot happen. All right. So in different terms, what we have is this. if we look at only A as a matrix, so what is A? A is 1, 1, 1, 1. And if I reduce it, then it becomes quite quickly 1, 1, 0, 0. Right? Now, this is a 2 cross 2 matrix. And I have only one only here, right? So what is happening? What I am dealing with? So basically A is a rank 1 matrix, right? A is essentially a rank 1 matrix. Okay. Okay. Now let us look at this augmented matrix. What is the augmented matrix? 1, 1. Let us not put the bar right now. 1, 1, 8, 1, 1, 9. So if I reduce this, then this becomes 1, 1, 8. We know this 1, 0, 0, 1. And if I try to reduce it further, so if I go above, then it becomes 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, right? And if you look at this matrix, then this matrix has one column from the identity matrix and another column from the identity matrix. Remember that you can take the middle column also. But anyways, what you observe is that there are two columns coming from the matrix I2, right? And then there is something extra. So this augmented matrix, it basically comes from 2 dimension. If I go by that, so basically it's a rank 2 matrix, right? The maximum identity matrix that you can find here is basically one of the row, one of the columns, one of the first two columns and the next one. So it becomes a rank 2 matrix. And that gives us our desired result. And what is that result? Let me just write it. The result is this. A linear system does not have a solution oblique, as we call it, is inconsistent. So a linear system is inconsistent if rank of A, that is coefficient matrix, does not equal rank of augmented matrix. So here, as you see, rank of the coefficient matrix is 1, but rank of the augmented matrix is 2. So because of that, we can really say that this system is inconsistent. So it is this way that at the very look at that, take a very look at that, we know that. Obviously, this system is rarely as simple as this, but we can always have inconsistent systems in a much more complex fashion. And in that case, it really helps to go by this result. Okay, so let's look at another system. Example 2. So 2x plus y equal to 12 and 4x plus 2y equal to 24. Okay. Take a look at that, what we are having. If this equation is given as number 1, I can write this equation as 2 into the first one, and I'll get the same. So this is also 2 equations into 1 unknowns. We can always write that, right? Okay, so let's look at the augmented matrix. So 2, 1, 4, 2, 12, 24. Okay, what is our first job? Our first job is to make this 1. So we divide this by 2. So that gives us 1, 1, 6. Then 4, 2, 24. Then to make this one 0, multiply by 4 and then subtract. So 1, 1, 6. This one becomes 0. Multiply by 4, then subtract. So this becomes minus 2. And this becomes 0. And then we need to make this one 1. So basically simply divide by 0, 1, 0, right? Yeah. Sorry, I divided by 2, right? So this will be half. This will also be half. And this will be 0. Sorry. So here I have my row reduced echelon form. And what do I find if I write this? I find what I saw with my clean eyes, that I have a system which looks like this. Multiply by 2, you get this one, right? Anyways, so my central problem now is that I have, for y, look at the second row, it says 0 into y is basically 0. So how to proceed with that, right? So I have what I call is a free variable. So I have, so the complete row is 0, the second row, right? So here y is a free variable. And what do we mean by that? That means that free to assign any value for y. So obviously we will not take 0. To be mathematically more meaningful, we will take let y equal to c. Okay, where c is a constant. All right. Now, what do we have? Then x plus c by 2 is equal to 6, which implies x equal to 6 minus c by 2. So if I am going to write my solution is xy is 6 minus c by 2 and c, where c is a constant. C is a constant. Now what is c? What is c? I can safely write that c is a real number. That means c can take infinite values. And as long as c can take infinite values, I have infinite values of x and y here. So here I have a system of equation where I have infinite solutions. Okay, infinite solutions. Okay. Now, what did we learn? First, we learned that here, since the last or at least one row becomes fully zero, and there I have a special case if I have something non-zero here, I have a inconsistent system, and parallelly if I have zero here, then here we see a situation where we have infinite solution. Let us look at example 3 and try to understand something more. But then again, just understand how do we achieve, how do we end at this point, how do we get it? We say that since we have a triviality here, 0 equal to 0, okay, so basically we have y as a free variable. Essentially we have one equation here. By observation we can see that, but remember again, we got this result from this row reduced echelon form, not from this observation. All right, because this is not, as I said, that counting the variables and unknowns is the worst possible way of even thinking around it. Let us take a system of two variables. So here I have two variables. If you go by counting, then here I have two variables, one equation. But as I said, that this is a very nonsense approach to the whole thing, because that's not how it works. The solution comes if you look at the rank of the matrix. Okay, so here I have a system where the rank of the matrix A is 1, which is less than the rank of the the corresponding identity matrix, let's say. So in mathematics we put it like this: the matrix is not full rank. Okay, so anyways, let us go again. Let us look at another system where we have two variables and three equations, and let's see what happens. So example 3, 2x plus 3y equal to 58, y is equal to 18, 2x plus y equal to 20. You can easily see that this is a system which has unique solution. One of them is given to you and x is equal to 2. But then again, let's look at the corresponding row reduced echelon form and see how the matrix looks like in this case. Okay, so what we have here, the coefficient matrix is 2, 1, 1, 0, 1, and then again, no, this is 2, 3, 2, 3, 0, 1, and 2, 1, right? And here we have 58, 18, and 20. Okay, so this is our augmented matrix. And as you see, that this is a non-square, this A augmented matrix is a square matrix, but A itself, A is a non-square matrix, right? This is how much? 3 cross 2. So earlier we saw an A which was a square matrix 2 cross 2, but yet we had infinite solutions. Here we have a matrix which is non-square, but From our observation, we know that it's a unique solution. Let's look at this. Okay. So our first task is to make this one 1. So divide by 2. So 1, 3 by 2. This is 29. 0, 1, 18, 2, 1, 20. Or maybe we can, okay, yeah. Then what we can do, this one I have 0 already. This one I have 1 already. So this one I have to make 0. So I multiply this by 2 and then subtract. So 0. This is 1 minus 3. So minus 2. And this is 58. And 20 minus 58 is minus 38. Okay. Then right, yeah. Okay. And then 1, 3 by 2, 0, 1, 29, 0, sorry, 1. This is 18. So if I divided mine by minus 2, this is 19. Sorry, this is x plus y equal to 20. Sorry. So this is 1 from the very start. Okay. So this one is 1. This one is also 1. Okay, so I'm just subtracting it. So this will become 0. Then I subtract this. This becomes minus 1 minus 3 by 2. So that is half. Right? And this becomes 20 minus 29. So minus 9. Minus 9. And if we proceed, then 1, 3 by 2, 29, 0, 1, 18. And if I just multiply this whole row by minus 2, then it becomes 0, 1, and 18. And as you can see, these two rows are same. So basically, I can subtract and write 1, 3 by 2, 29, 0, 1, 18, and this becomes 0, 0, 0. Okay. So I had two variables, right? And end of the day, the reduced A that I have got, this is 1, 3 by 2, 0, 1, 0, 0. Right? And as you can see, here I have 1 in in the diagonal 2, 1. So basically, I'm looking at a matrix with rank 2. Right? So given that this is a rank 2 matrix and I'm dealing with two variables, or so to say a vector with two components, that's much appropriate, a 2-component vector, and I have a matrix of rank 2. Basically, I have the solution here, y equal to 18, and then if I calculate x equal to 2. But what does it tell me here then? It says that even if I start with a situation where number of equations is more than number of variables, I can have a unique solution. There is no doubt with that. So what did we actually learn? First, we learned that systems can be inconsistent. Then we learned that if systems are dependent, then we have infinite solution. And then we learned that basically it is always the fact that the two component vector, if I have a two component vector, then always I am looking at the rank of A. That is telling me everything. Rank of A and rank of the augmented matrix. That is telling me everything. So when the rank of A and augmented matrix are same, I have solution. Whether it is unique or infinite, that comes later. But if I have different ranks, then I have inconsistency. And given that these two are equal, now we look into whether the components in a vector and the rank of A are same. If the component of vector is higher than the rank of A, then I have infinite solution. And if the component of vector is equal to the rank of A, then I have unique solution. So this is the complete scenario that we are dealing with. Okay. So if I just try to write what I said, it will go like this. So rank of A and unequal to rank of augmented matrix implies inconsistent solution. And rank of A equal to rank of augmented matrix implies there exist solutions. So whether that is unique or infinite, that to determine that we need to work some more. So then we have to, so after this, we have to look at the component of the vector. That means if I'm looking at xy, then obviously it is a vector coming from two dimension, right? So I can have a rule like this: if components of vector, that is the number of components in a vector, is greater than rank of A, then we have infinite solution. As you have seen, that we had a two component vector, but rank of A was 1. And the second is that if components of a vector is equal to rank of A, then we have unique solution. Okay. Remember one thing, in our solution we said y is a free variable and we took y equal to c, and then we said x equal to 6 minus c by 2. You can always do otherwise. You can say that x equal to, you can always write 6 minus c by 2 equal to some k, and then writing y entirely in terms of k. So you can always have that also. So this is what it tells us, that dealing with this linear system, we can have inconsistent, that is inconsistent not solution, inconsistent system, that means no solution. And you can, when we have solution, we can have unique solution or we can have infinite solution. In unique solution, it is not required that the number of equations and the number of variables are same. Okay, the number of equations can be higher. That doesn't create any problem, as long as the components of the vector, okay, of the components of the vector b in our problem, in our symbolic structure, is equal to the rank of A. If that is correct, then everything is fine. Okay.